Today on the Dream Ignite Build podcast, I'm excited to welcome Jessica and Chris Harris, the husband-wife team behind Sarasota-based Harris Financial Solutions. Jessica is a Realtor magazine publisher and community connector focused on relationship-driven growth and real estate strategy, while Chris is an accountant and tax strategist with over 15 years of experience helping individuals and business owners make proactive, smart financial decisions. Together, they bring a powerful, holistic approach to building long-term wealth through real estate, financial strategy, and education. Welcome. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so you guys do everything together, which is so incredible. I want to hear about this because there's a lot of entrepreneurial couples. There's a lot of couples that are, managing and doing all kinds of different things, but the both of you literally do everything together. So this is fascinating to me, and I want to hear more about it.
We are a blended family. So when we got married, we did the whole, I was self-employed. I've been self-employed for quite some time. And he was still working in the corporate tax world. So we kind of decided after a year of that the schedule just didn't really mesh with having kids and making sure we were able to pick kids up from school every day. And so I really pressured him into taking the leap. And I said, I know the business side, the taxes. We can do this. We can start our own business. And we did. We took the leap of faith. And
it was always an ambition of mine to have my own practice, but a lot of thanks, and I'm grateful that she pushed me along as a good supporting spouse would, encourage and push along. And it's definitely been something that it's been a wonderful transformation, and to watch us work together and to make it grow together has been, truly remarkable.
And I love that you guys put family first. I mean, we've had so many different conversations offline, just talking about the kids and making things work at home. And that's hard. I mean, as entrepreneurs, we are all navigating all the things. You are speaking to my audience right now because we are all in the midst of figuring it all out. So you guys are multifaceted and you have a lot of different things going on. As far as serving your clients, first of all, who is your ideal client? Who are you currently serving the most right now?
Small to medium-sized business. It took me a little while to figure out what my niche was, but definitely enjoy working with the small to medium size, helping them grow. I find it's not just more satisfying for me to put them in a better tax position, to save them a little bit of tax dollars, to kind of coach them along the way, because most of the time when clients come to us, they just don't know what they don't know. So be able to see something or see how they've done something and then offer some, positive recommendations and watch that ship turn, so to speak, and watch them achieve a higher degree of success. It's very rewarding for us.
Do you find that there's anything that's specifically challenging with regard to the market right now, or just starting off the new year? Like we're in January, so I like to think about, all the things that are happening as things change. I'd like to think about themes, and just as the time continues to pass, are there differences in terms of the way that people are doing business? Do you find that there's any consistent struggles that come to mind or anything like that?
yeah, well, again, working with small to medium businesses, a lot of times, like he said, they don't know what they don't know. And we're strategizing with them. But the new year is a great time that people are reflecting on what they did last year and what they can do better this year. And I think a big piece that I've taken away from last year and moving especially into 2026 is that I grew both of our businesses on Facebook. That's where we started. That's where we thrived. And that has shifted a lot in the last couple of years, because now if you're on social media, so is everyone else. And if they're asking for a realtor or a tax accountant on social media, you're one of hundreds. That's what led me actually to the magazine, because I found that as an opportunity. Instead of being one of 400 realtors on Facebook, I can be one realtor in my magazine and be a resource to my clients as we are with the tax firm. So we kind of pile that on as we are just a one-stop shop resource for you. If you need a referral for something, we have that for you. If you need to strategize or your taxes, we have that for you. If you are ready to invest your money and off-put taxes into real estate, we're able to help you with that. So we have a lot of skills that really can take a business owner and hold their hands as far as making those big milestones in their life personally and professionally.
Yeah, and then also kind of piggyback off of what she said, At this point, it's a fresh start. It's a new year, as we all know. It's more so reflecting back, and the challenges are more so mitigating the challenges from last year. And a lot of times, kind of like we all make New Year's resolutions, the gyms are more full, everybody's on the diet plan or whatever. It's the same thing, with their financial health, their taxes, their business, how their business did. And it's more so it's mitigating the challenges from last year and then improving on those and then just continuing to learn and to grow and between that it just really builds rapport with our clients and it just continues that growth process for us in the same time.
And wouldn't you say that there's definitely an evolution of our roles and just who we are as business owners? Like, I know we were talking about this the other day and just like we are more than just like I'm more than a business coach, you're more than a real estate agent, an accountant. Like we are also strategic partners. So we are helping people fulfill all of these other things. And I think that's really where the brunt of success comes from all of us. And I think it's the being a resource, not just like, let's just do business together. Like, how can I serve you? How can I help you?
And that's a great point actually because we talk about that all the time with our clients because you might come thinking, okay, I'm gonna file my tax return, I'm gonna get a ad in a magazine, but that's just a surface level, and we go so much deeper than that, and that's where I really feel like we separate in terms of value to our client is that we are a connector of other professionals because of what you said, it's not just a business owner that needs their taxes filed. They also have a family usually. They've got responsibilities, obligations. So to be able to dig deep and to build that rapport and you start to uncover some of those things and then you can offer, assistance. Hey, I've got a
Sure.
person for this, or you need to go talk to this person. They're an expert at that. So it really, when you kind of get below the surface, I think that's really where our value really comes into
Yeah.
play.
And I think something too for me as a realtor, being one of 10,000 realtors in this area, that is the importance of containing and maintaining those relationships with your clients. And that's what we do really well. We have a lot of clients that are real estate clients, magazine clients, and tax clients because they see the big picture. And like he said, we're connectors. So yeah, we're not just throwing your ad in a magazine. We're building a community and we're building a team of people that are going to help each other grow and help each other as far as it's referring business. And we talk about the one referral that could be passed 10 times where if I have a referral, as long as I'm having those conversations with people and I'm getting to know them as people, like you said, we're all people, right? People want to work with people they know, like, and trust. So we get to know them. We build an authentic, genuine relationship with them. And then they trust us because then they call us when they want to start that new business and they need some guidance or they want to buy a commercial property now because their business has boomed and now I can assist them with that. So it builds that trust with them that they know if they need something, they can come to us because if we can't do it, we have someone that can.
And it's also a sense of relief, I think, on their end too, because like we've talked about, you don't know what you don't know sometimes. And, when you come as a tax client, let's say, or looking for an ad in a magazine, they're just so much that when they walk into the door for the first time, they don't even realize, they know all the other things that seem to be very daunting and overwhelming to them. Like, oh, I need to talk to this person and this person, this person. And then during those conversations, I can almost see a shift of like, wow, you guys can do that too, or you can offer me that too. And then when they leave, they feel not just that their taxes are taken care of or they got a good ad in the magazine, but oh my gosh, we left and I have a relief now that I've got X, Y, and Z covered too now.
And definitely, I think having aligned action, intentional conversations, and just knowing that whoever it is that we're all interacting with, that it's meaningful. Like it's not just a number. There's like so much more depth that's happening with that relationship. And that's I know we've talked about this before too, is just like having those people in your circle that again you can trust, that that, hey, if I'm gonna pass you this person, like, you're gonna uphold your
Yeah.
your role, your responsibility here. So
I preach that all the time. And when I have conversations with potential business partners, tax clients, just people out in public, referrals at networking meetings, things like that, I am very intentional on those referral partners because if I send a referral and it doesn't go well, that really reflects on us. And, not that we need to take it personally, but we kind of do because we do build those relationships with our clients. And we want to make sure if we send them a referral, they like knock it out of the park for that,
Sure.
and we all make each other look good.
What would be one thing I would love to hear from both of you? One strategy tip that you could provide for the audience for, and it can be for the magazine or it could be for real estate, like something that would be beneficial as we're in 2026 now. Like maybe it's potentially doing something a little bit different. Maybe it's preparing for the tax season. Just like getting ready to have the best year yet. That's why we're here today talking about this. We want to help everyone to grow together, to rise, and to make good decisions.
Well, for me, I think it's just kind of sitting down and putting those goals on paper. We can help in a lot of different ways, and not everyone's ready to buy a house this year, and that's totally fine. But I think having those conversations up front and early, those are the kind of people where when we're doing their taxes and we know that their plan is to buy a house in 2 years, we want to know that, because then we can help you strategize and be best prepared to be in that position. Same with the magazine. Print advertising might not be for everyone, and that's okay. But it is going to be for people who want to have that more relationship-based referrals versus having just those one-off referrals that might use you for a job once. We are training people, right? And we're really training even our audience to even be a fan club for our business partners as well. So just building that and putting your goals on paper, I think, is something that's so important at the beginning of the year. And I think just, yes, we always plan for the year and having success that year. But I think even just looking at the next year and the next year, because big things might be happening. And in our world, in the tax world, you have to have 2 years of tax returns to buy a house. So we need to know that up front, and we need to, he needs to plan for that.
I would echo a lot of that. But for me, it's, typically I find myself on the 11th item on a 10-item list. So my thought would be to early and often find the professional that you want to work with, give us a call, get the ball rolling, have the conversation, start to understand, not just what you've done, but what you were going to do and want to do going forward. And then just equipping yourself with as much information as possible. So yeah, early on, get with a professional, let them help guide you, understand your plan, build rapport. Yeah, and stick with one person. If you like one person, stick with that person, because they've put, some sweat equity into understanding your situation, your circumstances, what you're trying to do, short and long term, and to build that, continuity with somebody. But do it early. Don't wait until your last second scrambling, trying just to have someone file something. You're losing crucial time that could really help put you in a better position in this current year we're in.
I do want to circle back to the team aspect of what we kind of started talking about, because I think that that's critical in just how we can grow together, husband and wife, doing the dynamic duo aspect of building, and whether we're working together, working separate. But what would you have to say to the person that's kind of struggling in the area because you work so well together? We'd love to just hear a little bit more about what that can look like, more of like that coming together aspect of having common goals and just kind of being on the same page.
I would say patience, because it's not like we just woke up one day and we're like, wow, we're a perfect fit. This is going to be great. No, it's trial and error. It's patient. It's disagreeing. It's communication. It's agreeing on maybe some foundational goals and aspirations. But overall, it's just a work in progress. I'd say don't get discouraged if things don't go well right off the bat. Don't throw your hands up and say, okay, I'm done. I can't do this. In all transparency, there's been some really easy times and some difficult times, and then you just have to work through those. And it doesn't matter. There's more of a element if you're married to the person, but in every professional relationship you have, especially if you're working together as a team or an office, it doesn't always go smoothly. You always have challenges. And we've just found a way to work through a lot of those challenges. And when we are presented with new ones, we just keep working through those too.
Yeah, and too, people see the pretty box on the outside, right? They see the nice house and the nice neighborhood, the nice cars, they see the outside. They don't see the inside of what it takes to get there. And like he said, there's been probably more harder times than there's been easy times. Yes, we have had success and we are doing well with what we have, but we're still in a building phase. We're still growing as well. We're still, figuring out what our long-term goals are. And, there are months where we're questioning how we're going to make things work this month too. So, I don't want to just, people to look at the pretty picture and think like everything's perfect, because it's not. What we do is we pivot, when we see that things aren't working, we just immediately are like, hey, like 911, we need to pivot, or what do we need to do to fix this or mitigate that? And those are just the things we have to do.
Yeah, and it's also like the meme. I see the meme on Facebook all the time where it's like a front and back picture, and it's like the front of like what people see, and then the flip side of that is like you see all like the struggles with like the scars and the this and then that, and it's like what really happened in order to paint this picture here. So yeah, and again, I would say just if you have, the goals, working on similar goals is probably the most important thing, but it's just having that determination and not letting an arguments, roadblocks, disagreements interfere with what the big picture is. So, and I think that's where we have been successful at, is we still see the vision short and long term. We both know where we want to go. And we're both pretty stubborn people at times. So there's an element there that like, I'm not giving up. Like, we're going to do this.
Well, and both being self-employed, it has to work. The failure is not an option.
Yeah.
And what we have set as goals for what we expect out of ourselves, what we expect for our children, what we expect out of just like the quality of life in general, like it's not an option. So we have to make it work, and we are making it work.
Yeah.
So,
And I love to hear that vulnerability, because, we see a lot of stuff on Facebook and social just in general where we're like, gosh dang, like, how do they do all that? Or how do they have it all together? And I think it's, we all have our own unique story. We all have our own struggles.
Yeah.
But to know that despite those things, we can rise above.
Not only that, but it also then builds character.
Yeah.
It builds character not just individually, but collectively in a relationship. And I think it does make the end goal seem and feel a lot, or taste a lot sweeter, knowing that you overcame objections, you overcame, a degree of struggle and figuring things out. And I think that it's definitely, and it's interesting because I can look back on each calendar year, and it's so interesting to like reflect back and say, wow, that year I had to face this, and this.
Yeah.
We faced this, and this,
Yeah.
and we got through it. And now we're in a new year, and we're looking forward to what this year has to bring us in.
Yeah.
We're not naive. We know there's going to be challenges along the way, and I think we just find a way just work through those.
Yeah.
You know what I love too is always having something to look forward to together. It's, you're talking about sitting down and making those goals and putting things down on paper and just knowing like, this is where we're headed, this is what we're doing, and this is what we could do as a unit. And when you have that common vision of like, this is where we're going, it keeps things exciting. I think it keeps the momentum.
it just keeps you determined to keep showing up and to keep taking the steps forward. Because I mean, I'll just use myself, like selling magazine advertisements. I mean, that's hard. A lot of people don't want to pay for advertising, and that's okay. Every time someone says no, you just have to keep pushing forward, because every no is just one step closer to a yes. And that just goes for kind of everything in life. There's going to be things that we try that doesn't work. And like you said, having that like end goal of where we want to be just keeps our, determination and just the optimism to say, well, that didn't work, but we just keep trying, keep showing up, because eventually it will work.
Oh, you'll find your way. You'll find your way. You'll find the solution. You just have to keep trying. Yeah. I mean, it's as simple as that.
So how can everyone reach you? What is the best way to contact you, get in touch? Where can we go from here?
I mean, a great connection for us is obviously any small to medium business owners really looking to scale. That's where we specialize. We really take on business owners and clients and hold their hand. And we really do truly want like them to have success and vice versa. So a great connection with us, email, text message, calls, whatever. We're very accessible. I will say too, a flaw.
We try our hardest to be. And I think it's also worth noting that, we run a professional business and we take our roles very seriously. But on the other side of that, we're also very casual and very easygoing. Meaning, if it's better for you to email, it's not a one size fits all for everybody. If someone's better with email, then you email. If someone's better with a quick phone call, you phone call. There is no set rule of how you have to reach us, contact us, or how you can work with us. I've been doing this for a long time, so I've seen a lot of different formats of communication and delivery of documents or whatever. And, I just say, listen, I've seen it all. So you do what works for you. And then my role, what you're using me for, is to figure out what you have, take what you have, and then feedback. And I'll tell you, hey, listen, it might simplify it for you to do this. You don't have to, but this might work better for you. But it's totally up to you. So it's very in a lot of ways very customized to the individual client, because at the end of the day, they're focused on running their business, being successful at their business, not so much changing all their administrative procedures or how they're going to give their tax accountant their documents. So it's just very much, we're very laid back, and we just say, hey, listen, we'll go at your pace. You do it how it's comfortable for you. I want to make this transition easier for you. And I think that's been very successful for us as well.
Yeah. Jessica and Chris, thank you so much for being on the show today, for sharing your insights, expertise, and the heart behind what led you to be where you are today. I love how you blended so much about the real estate, the financial strategy, and education in a way that truly empowers people to think long term, and then also helps them to make confident decisions. To our listeners, if today's conversation resonated with you, be sure to connect with Jessica and Chris and explore what they're working on. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to Dreaming Night Build, where we help you ignite your vision, build with intention, and create a life and business you love.